Good morning and good day once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to World Trade Center Accra and World Trade Center Pune's workshop on unlocking business potential with artificial intelligence. We're having this workshop also in partnership with CodeQuay, who are members of the World Trade Center Pune. And we are truly honored that we have each and every one of you joining us today as we delve into one of the most transformative and exciting realms of technology, which is artificial intelligence. In recent years, artificial intelligence has emerged as a powerful catalyst for change, revolutionizing technology industries, reshaping economies, and redefining the way businesses operate. Africa currently is experiencing rapid economic growth and technological advancements, and it becomes paramount for companies across the continent to harness the potential of artificial intelligence to enhance productivity, competitiveness, and innovation capabilities. Artificial intelligence is here. It's no longer a prediction, it's a reality. And companies are deploying AI to enhance competitive advantage around the world. So today, our distinguished panelists and speakers will navigate this complex landscape, guiding us through the intricacies of AI adoption, its practical applications, and the immense value it holds for businesses around the world. We will explore real-world case studies, share insights, and discuss the challenges and opportunities that come with integrating AI into our business strategies. Our goal in this workshop is not just to understand the theoretical aspects of AI, but to grasp its tangible impact on businesses, from startups to established enterprises, and so on. We will be aiming to answer some critical questions. For instance, how can AI optimize business processes and decision-making? What role does AI play in enhancing customer experience and engagement? And how can businesses around the world overcome the challenges associated with AI implementation, such as data privacy and workforce upskilling? What are the ethical considerations businesses must bear in mind while leveraging AI technologies? As we embark on this journey today, I encourage each and every one of you to actively participate, ask questions, and engage in meaningful discussions. The knowledge we gain here will not only enrich our understanding, but will empower us to drive innovation and progress with our respective organizations. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to our speakers and to all of you, the attendees here, the team at World Trade Center Accra and World Trade Center Pune, and the team at World Trade Center at our headquarters in New York for all the support that they have given to us in putting this webinar together. Let us embrace the opportunity to learn, to collaborate, and to shape the future of business through the transformative power of artificial technology. With this, I declare the workshop open, and I'd like to invite our first presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So once again, thank you so much, WTC Pune and WTC Accra, for giving us this good opportunity to participate. And I want to welcome all the participants, ladies and gentlemen, to this webinar of Business Potentials with AI. We are in this time where artificial intelligence is transforming industries and reshaping the way we work and live. So during this webinar, we will explore many facets of AI, from its impact on efficiency and productivity, on its role in innovation, customer engagement, and decision making. Our goal primarily is to help you understand how AI can be a game changer for your business, regardless of the size of the industry. In between, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the Q&A section. We will try to answer them soon after the section ends. So without further delay, let me introduce you to the key speakers. Mr. Shashikant Kalsha, he is CEO, Kodki Technologies. He is having 2 decades of IT and enterprise applications, enterprise experience from countries like US, UK, Australia, and Ireland. The second speaker is Kumud. He is enterprise expert and the speaker for today. He comes with 18 years of deep AI experience in many sections like banking and finance, retail, digital commerce, CRM, and many more. Once again, thank you for joining us today. I would like to invite and welcome Shashikant Kalsha to introduce about the company Kodki Technologies. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Hemalita. It's a pleasure to be here. Before I start, and Kumud, by the time you bring it, Kodki slide, I would like to thank you, Dennis, Edim, and WTC ACCRA and WTC Pune for arranging this and giving us an opportunity to present what AI is and how it can benefit the businesses. And we are also going to present, some very good facts and some good goodies coming up for you in the overall this tenure of webinar. Kumud, can I have my slide, please, on the slide of the Kodki?
Just a minute. Sorry. Who's sharing? I'm not sharing it.
Okay.
Adam, can we have the permission given to Kumud to share the screen?
Yeah, let me first try sharing it. Just a minute.
Yes, I think as a panelist, you should be able to share.
Yeah. Yes, we can see a screen. Cool. I think we're done with the introduction. Can you move to the next slide, please? Thank you. Thank you so much. So Kodki Technologies, primarily, I want to give you a quick introduction. We are a futuristic tech company, and we majorly work on AI, AR, VR, blockchain-based technologies, cloud-based technologies, and integrating them all together for businesses in larger businesses, MSMEs, providing them a future tech solutions, helping them prepare the business for the future technologies and keep it, for at least 10 years, scalable tech that can help them to scale up their business. So that's what we do. And if we quickly talk about how AI is changing, I think AI is disrupting the market. There was one point of time when computers came in and people were, making sure whether computer will become important element in the business, yes or no. And apparently we see today every business has a computers. And I think same disruption what AI is bringing in, and all the people who are still dicey, whether we want to adapt AI, we should adapt AI, not adapt AI. All these confusions and clarities that we are going to gain in the course of time, I think ultimately going to land up that we all will be using AI in our day-to-day routine as well as our in businesses. So without holding you all for a long time, I want to quickly talk about the journey that we are into. So in this next 1.5 hour and another half hour of quick Q&A, we are going to talk about what is AI and what is market talking about it, and how this is going to change, and what are the key benefits that AI brings in for the businesses, how its implementation is going to help in the businesses. And various industries are adapting it, and everybody is, while the early adapters are already engaging with it and trying to get benefit out of it, there are some good use cases, some benefits coming in the whole stuff. So what are those? We will deep dive on that. Accordingly, when we look into this, the implementation need to be planned up with the business strategies. And what are the strategies which has been successful in the industries that we are going to talk about, backed up by a couple of case studies coming in. And these case studies are something which is very specific to the industries that we have collated today. And you will see how these are impacting the decision-making and growth trajectory of the businesses. while we talk about the case studies, this also helps us to talk about the emerging trends. And the trends talk about, the better you adapt to the change. If you adapt to AI, otherwise AI will change you. So that's the key thing. And I think Charles Darwin said we have to change ourselves with the course of time. Looking at the market trends, the predictions, we see a potential contribution that AI is making is of 15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. And that is tremendous growth. And if we look into the whole stuff, I think the large tier companies, a very big bunch of MSME companies contribute towards these growth of the economy. And AI is going to be a very big needle mover out there. When we look into the AI market, which is valued 136.55 billion in 22 as projected. Now it is going with the growth rate of CAGR of 37.3%, which is tremendous. While not only in the predictions and growth market, how businesses are adapting AI has been seen tremendous change in that thing. And, from 2017, when it actually started hitting the market to till date, there has been a huge adoption of AI because everybody is either scared of AI who are not touching it or people are taking it and riding it. So adoption is actually started giving them a benefit. I can see a huge change in sales and marketing approach that ITs and digital companies are doing. The whole prediction, finding out the leads, tapping out the right market is all happening through the AI. And I think you better adopt it early so that you can reap the benefits. When we talk about the numbers in supply side, when I say supply side, how are the talents being prepared? Are there job markets? Are there people skilled enough to get into the AI kind of jobs? Yes, there is a huge increase in the adoption of technology learning, and there is a huge demand in the industry for AI experts to come in. And I'm sure you must have heard about prompt engineer, which is a new job profile that has evolved after AI. And I think it is increasing the number of jobs. While there are prompt engineers, which are the users of AI, there are developers of AI, and there are a lot of data scientists, analytics guys coming in the picture who are increasing the huge demand in the industry. So while supply side, demand side, and projection all looks very positive and north, I think without losing much of a time, I would like to hand over this to our AI expert, Kumud. Kumud comes with a very strong experience in this, and he's going to take us to a very good journey from basic of fundamentals to some beautiful use cases we are seeing right now in the market. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the things. And over to you, Kumud. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Shashi. Thanks, everyone, for joining. And apologies for the initial glitches. Am I audible? Yeah, thank you. So, most of the webinar coverage would be done by me. So I'll try to include real life examples. Using my past experience where I have used AI for different solving different business problems. I'll try to put wherever it is possible, right? So going into the AI use cases and business productivity, first let's understand the entire AI ecosystem, what it is, what it comprises of. So what is AI? Right? In simple terms, it is the ability of machine to simulate human intelligence, right? This includes tasks which human can do, something like learning, reasoning, problem solving, creativity, right? So AI can be rule-based, that is based on some specific instructions. For example, if you have a self-driving car, right? You tell self-driving car to slow down when it is 25 meters away from the red light, right? Or completely stop when it is 5 meters from the red light. So these are something which is specific instruction given to the self-driving car. Then comes the predictive part, which is how to determine the distance, right? Or how to determine whether the traffic signal is green or red, right? So these are something which it is doing in predictive way, right? So these are, two parts to it. One is the rule-based, and other is predictive in nature. AI ecosystem is big. But for this webinar, we'll look into three main components: machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing. We'll see how they fit into the entire AI ecosystem. And please do, if you have any questions, do write in the chat. We'll take time to answer those at the end. Thank you. Coming to the AI ecosystem and its element, we'll start with machine learning. So what is machine learning? So it's a subfield of AI that allows machine to perform some set of tasks more accurately and efficiently. Right? So like creating a segment of the entire customer base or predicting whether a customer will attrite or not. Then we'll see about deep learning. It's nothing but it's a subpart of ML, which is within ML. How it is different from ML? In the way that it uses complex neural network architecture and uses ample of data. And that's how it kind of distinguishes itself from the traditional machine learning. Then comes the NLP. So NLP is a subfield of AI that enables machine to understand, process human language, including speech and text, right? So, for example, you can write an essay on benefits of AI using generative AI, or create a chatbot. So these are some of the use cases where NLP can be used. It may use traditional machine learning or deep learning, but also it comprises of other data-specific tasks such as data cleaning, finding root words, or tagging part of speech. So these are something which is there in NLP. So now we have seen about AI and its components. Let's look into the different benefits of AI in business productivity, how it helps in different business areas, and how do we and why do we use AI. So starting with increased efficiency. AI can automate many repetitive and time-consuming tasks in areas like data entry or customer service, such as automated response system, or document processing, like understanding the content or summarizing the data, right? Marketing, where it can be used to send customized email campaigns, manufacturing, where we can have automated machines, or store operations, where we can build a robot which would do a defined task, something like putting product into specific shelf, something like those, right? This can free up definitely employees' time, right? So that they can focus on more strategic and value-added activities, leading to improved productivity. So this is about the increased efficiency, how it helps in increasing the efficiency. Point number 2, improved decision making, which is nothing but predicting any outcome more accurately, right? So AI can help business make accurate decisions by analyzing large amount of data and identifying patterns and trends, right? So those are not visible to humans, or humans may miss those. Example, so in recommended system, right? What is the next best product for a customer? We can predict more accurately using AI tools. Similarly, in targeted marketing campaigns, even in fraud detection, discovering complex fraudulent patterns, which can't be done manually because you need to have you need to analyze a lot of transactional data. In customer segmentation, where we group customers which have similar attributes into similar groups. So these are some examples of how AI can be used in accurate decision making. Next is for new revenue opportunities. So with AI, you can unlock diverse revenue streams, right? For example, with the introduction of Gen AI, a whole set of new opportunities have opened up, like content generation. So Gen AI can write articles, books, generate images, audios, etc. Many companies are coming up or even built which are having their application built on top of Gen AI, right? So you can see how different or how more avenues of revenues generation are coming up with the introduction of Gen AI. Next is on the cost reduction. Automation through AI can reduce labor cost. we have seen in terms of chatbots, right? Or document processing, where we can scan, or where AI tool can scan through the document and get the meaningful content out of it. It also helps in minimizing errors, right? In case of, let's say we are predicting a credit risk or loan defaulters, right? So it helps both in reducing cost and reducing manual errors. Then how AI benefits personalization in terms of AI can analyze customer behavior and other parameters and provide personalized recommendation, boosting engagement. For example, AI can run through thousands of records to recommend next best product for a particular customer. Last but not least, 24/7 availability. Yes, it's a machine, so it can work 24/7, 365 days, right? Without any fatigue, or I mean, the availability is throughout. Examples, the virtual agents like chatbot, which can respond to any customer queries any time of the day, right? Or any monitoring system or sensors like patient monitoring system, where it can monitor patient throughout 24/7 and see if there are any issues, something like those, right? So these are some of the benefits of AI in how it can be productive for different businesses, right? Now we have seen the benefits. Definitely there are some challenges which are attached to implementation of AI. The first one is implementation cost. Cost of developing and implementing AI systems can be expensive, requiring investment on technologies, talent, data, infrastructure, right? This can be a barrier for definitely for the smaller organizations which do not have that much fund, right? So before implementing AI, definitely the first thing is to analyze cost versus benefit, right? And then decide on whether you want to go ahead with tools which are proprietary versus open source, right? Both have their benefits, and I mean, both have their positives and negatives. Then comes the data availability and quality. I mean, this is one of the important parts also. When you try to implement AI, it comes as a challenge where it requires definitely AI. Any AI system requires a large amount of data, high quality data, to learn from the data, right? So company may need to invest a lot on the, I mean, data collection, I mean, in terms of time as well as resource, right? And building that infrastructure. Then the specific skill set. So, I mean, as I said earlier, AI is a vast ecosystem, right? Where we talked about machine learning, deep learning, and NLP, right? Apart from that, there are many other parts to it, and definitely all this requires different specialization, right? So there are a lot of actors here. I mean, in terms of resources or skill sets, right? You would have some, I mean, data engineers who develops the entire data infra, right? Databases, data warehouses. Then you would have data analysts who would analyze the data, reports, work on reports, dashboard, etc. Right? Then you have data scientists who will build machine learning models, right? You have ML engineers who will build the machine learning pipeline, the entire pipeline from start to end. Then there are definitely software engineers who would develop the entire application, right? So there's a shortage of such skills, right? I mean, if you want to find out people who are well versed with not all, but some of it, definitely it's hard to find. And that's where the challenge is. Then comes the complexities in integrating the AI tools to the existing tools, right? So integrating these AI systems with existing workflow or legacy systems can be complex, right? Leading to compatibility issues and disruption in operations, right? So additionally, AI systems can be complex and difficult to manage and maintain. So these things you have to keep in mind while implementing AI. Then the transparency and accountability. Complex AI tools are termed black box, right? Because it's hard to understand what goes inside it, right? And how it is generating a particular outcome, right? So AI systems, when becomes more complex, it's difficult to understand how it is making those decisions, right? And thus we have to ensure that accountability is there, right? And transparency is there, how it generates the outcome. So, for example, when a bank is rejecting a loan, right, a loan application for a customer, it should be backed with valid reasons for doing it rather than just throwing an output, whether yes or no. Coming to the ethical concerns, there are some ethical concerns definitely associated with the use of AI. First one is the bias, which can be present in the data and may lead to discriminatory outcomes, right? So giving an example, a simple one, right? We'll talk about gender bias, correct? So many jobs in the past were done mostly by men, not because of their ability, but it was kind of a stereotype, right? So for example, automotive industries where you would find more men rather than women. Now, let's say if you have built a AI hiring tool, right? So this tool would learn from the historical data, and learning that data, it would tend to predict men to be more kind of preferred for these kind of jobs than women, right? So these are some issues or ethical concerns that we need to look, which AI can't be, AI would not be able to see through it, right? And then there are other issues related to data privacy, right? GDPR compliances and all those things. Apart from that, you have concerns about losing job and all those such scenarios, right? So definitely business or companies need to carefully consider these concerns before implementing any AI solutions. So now we have looked at some benefits and challenges of implementing AI. Let's look at some of the use cases, right, in different domains and how it is improving the overall productivity. We'll start with banking and finance, right? Some stats around use of AI in banking and finance. You can see it. I'll just read through it. So for global banking, McKinsey estimates that AI technologies could potentially deliver up to 1 trillion of additional values each year. And from Deloitte, it predicts that top 14 global investment banks can boost their front office productivity by as much as 27 to 35% by using generative AI. Now moving to the different areas within banking and finance where AI can be used. We'll start with customer engagement, which is the most basic ones, right? So AI can analyze customer data to offer personalized product recommendations, including investment options, loans, credit cards, right? I'll just give an example. I mean, in my past experience for one of the top Indian banks, we built a tool to pitch these products, right? I mean, financial products like credit cards or loans or SIPs, which stand for investment plans, systematic investment plan, based on customers' transactions, their account balances, and what products they have got at present. So using these, we built a system to pitch the next best product for the customer. Then AI can be used in chatbots like virtual assistant, which provides 24/7 customer support, handling routine inquiries and assist with their basic transaction. So at Kotke right now, we have built an AI-based chatbot that can consume data from any different sources, be it website, document, or FAQs, right? And it builds a virtual assistant to answer any questions relevant to those documents. So this currently is in a beta version right now. Moving from sorry. Is everybody able to see? Am I audible?
Very good from my side.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Thanks for that. Thanks for confirmation. Yeah. Moving to risk management, again, one of the areas within customer engagement. AI can help assessing credit worthiness of customers, right? So most of us would know or heard about customers' credit score, risk scores, right? So financial institutes use these risk scores for automated approval of credit cards or loans, etc. So these are created after training on customers' data. I mean, existing products, transactions, income, family members, and so on, right? So one of the use cases. The other is detecting fraudulent behavior, fraudulent transactions, identifying fraudulent transactions or patterns from the data. That is, real time, right? So giving one example, in my past experience for one of the top international banks, we built an AI-based fraud detection tool, right, which use transactions, the banking transaction, try to identify some patterns which were mapped to some financial frauds which were prevalent in those countries. So definitely on fraud detection, as well as, along with that, the anti-money laundering, right, to detect any money laundering activities which are happening, definitely based on, the transactions, the banking transaction, and so on. Then comes the investments. On the investment side, AI can help managing in different investment portfolios by assessing risk and investors' financial goals. AI can also help in high frequency trades, right? Definitely, HFTs work on high volume trades at extremely high speed, right? Using powerful computers. AI can definitely help analyzing massive amount of market data real time, as well as external factors, right? Something like any news articles which had come or any social media posts. So real time, it can analyze different data from different sources and help you in HFTs. Then on the automation side, AI tools automate repetitive tasks, right? Something like sending a reminder, a regular reminder for a payment, or manual verification and approval process is time consuming and error prone, right? So I can automate documents, approval or approve different or verify different documents, right? Then Gen AIs are experts in extracting key elements, contents from documents, right? Even it can create a new, generate a new content based on few instructions or few examples, right? So using these, we can automate preparation or submission of any reports, right, or documents. So these are from the automation side, right? So I have tried to capture areas which are where AI used more, right? Definitely, these are not only the limited ones. There are more, right? Moving into healthcare, we'll look into healthcare use cases. But before that, just a couple of stats. Gartner says that 50% of US healthcare providers will invest in robotic process automation by end of 2023. World artificial intelligence in drug discovery market to reach around 4 billion by 2027. This is by researchandmarkets.com. Now moving into the use cases for healthcare, starting with drug research. So AI accelerate in drug development by identifying different potential compounds, predicting drug interaction, and then simulating drug effects. We can predict more accurately and fast. AI tools can help conduct clinical trials quickly. So AI can assist in identifying suitable patients for clinical trials, monitoring trial process, and so on, analyzing data for more efficiently drug development. So these are from the drug research and drug development side. Moving to the next, definitely on the diagnosis part, AI systems can analyze medical images such as X-rays, MRIs, or CT scans, right? Or even tissue samples to detect any abnormalities, right? And assist in diagnosing the diseases. So one of the case studies which we would see later is based on this. So we'll see how one of the hospitals were able to predict a cancerous tissue, I mean, in a very short amount of time, right? So we'll watch that later. Then on diagnosis itself, AI tools can predict patient risk factors and detect early sign of diseases like diabetes or heart condition based on medical history or their symptoms, or even, I mean, if they have gone through any lab results, a lab test, we can do it from there. Then the healthcare operations. These are typically operations on the operation side, right? Where automation can help doing a lot of things. So AI-based chatbots and health assistant provide remote healthcare consultation, answer patient queries, which are more generic in nature, right? So which can be done in an automated way. And then AI helps also in scheduling any timely notifications for appointment, I mean, either patients or doctor, right? Processing medical documents and so on. So on the automation side, how it helps in healthcare operations. Then the patient care. AI tools can monitor patient health remotely, detect changes in their condition, right? This can help identify any potential problem or prevent any serious complication. So again, I mean, in one of the case study that we will see later, this example is covered there where we can see it. Then AI-based personal treatment plans for patients based on their individual characteristics, such as their medical history, how they have responded to any previous treatments, and so on. So these are some of the use cases where AI can help in the healthcare domain. Yeah. So now moving further, I'll take a break for some exciting offers. I'll hand it over to Hema to speak more about it. Yeah, Hema, please.
Thank you so much, Kumar. I hope you all are having a great time. And please feel free to put your questions. Your mic is working. Am I audible? Can I check once with everyone? If you can type yes.
Hema, it's difficult to hear you clearly. I think you are far away from the mic.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it improved.
Thank you so much. So thank you everyone for being attentive so far. We have a lot to cover again. And there are a lot of useful case studies with respect to the industries. But before we go there, and we understand that you might be having a lot of questions by now. You are looking for deep dive sessions. So for all of those, we have given this QR code. Kindly scan this and book your calendar. You can have a 30-minute slot where we can be answering those questions one-on-one with your business and the domain specific requirement. So please feel free to scan the QR code, and if you are facing any challenges or any issues, please feel free to put the questions as well on the Q&A. And we are responding one-on-one. I'm receiving questions from people and audience, and we are responding on the Q&A section. We will hold on this screen for a minute or so. And then we can get started. So maybe just for a few seconds, we will be here. Once you have scanned it, we will get started. What is that?
Thanks, Hema, for that. Let's move on. This screen will come again. So if you have missed it, you can scan later on as well. Moving ahead. So let's see how AI can be used in agriculture or agri-based businesses. Again, a stat from agriculture market is projected to grow around 1.7 billion USD in 2023 to 4.7 billion USD in 2028 with a CAGR of around 23.1%. This is from Markets and Markets. Let's jump onto the use cases. Yeah. So first on the crops. So AI-driven soil sensors and robots can assess soil type, moistures, nutrient contents, allowing farmers to make data-driven decisions about fertilization or soil management, right? AI-powered drones and satellites can capture images and data to monitor any pest infestation, diseases, etc., right? AI-powered robots and machines can identify and target weeds, pests, reducing the need for any chemical herbicides or pesticides. So this is on the crop management. Coming to the livestock, AI-based sensors can collect data on animal health and behavior. Analyzing this data, we can identify early signs of illness or distress. AI can help in selecting optimal breeding pairs for improved genetics, right? Enhancing livestock quality. Then improving animal health by analyzing feed quality, their consumption. AI system can ensure that animal receive the right amount of food with the right nutrients based on their individual needs. Coming to supply chain, in agro-based businesses, AI uses historical and real-time data such as weather conditions and soil quality to forecast crop yields, enabling better inventory management. AI algorithms can optimize transportation routes, right, for delivering crops or livestock or any agricultural products, reducing fuel consumption and the cost of transportation. Right? This will help in faster delivery as well as the overall cost reduction. Then comes the automation. Again, automation is something which is kind of applicable or which you would see in almost all different business areas. So here also AI-enabled robots can perform tasks such as planting, harvesting, irrigation, spraying pesticides, or eliminating weeds, right? Using image from the crop images, it can do that. And AI-driven robots can identify and pick ripened crops, right? Thus reducing any labor or manual work doing the same task. It can also help scheduling timely notification for any crop harvesting or spraying pesticides, irrigations, etc. So these are some of the use cases in agriculture domain or agri-based businesses areas. Moving to CRM, again, starting with some of the stats from AI. From Fortune Business Insight, the global CRM market size is projected to reach around 145 billion USD by 2029. And it increases the response by 50%. Okay. Moving to the use cases, starting with the customer engagement. AI can help in personalized recommendations and support to boost customer engagement. So giving one example from my previous experience with an e-commerce company, we built a recommendation engine to recommend the most relevant product to customer. Also from one of my previous experience in insurance domain, where we built the next best insurance policy for a customer. So these are few use cases of how personalized recommendation would help in customer engagement. Then the AI-based customer segmentation and lifetime value, which can help us understand a customer better. Again, from my previous experience in an e-commerce company, we created customer segments. So these segments were based on their purchase frequency, their tenures, the tickets they have raised, their recency, the spend they have done, and so on. So these customer segments were created for any kind of personalized service that would provide. I mean, it can be anything, the marketing service or even the customer service, right? In terms of having more or better customer satisfaction. For any B2C segment, customer retention is one of the major focuses, right? AI-based customer attrition models can predict customer churn well in advance, right? I mean, helping teams take relevant retention strategies. Then 24/7 remote assistant through AI chatbots, again, on the automation side, right? For email support, used in almost all industries, as mentioned before. I mean, virtual assistant or chatbot can learn automatically from different sources like FAQs, documents, website, etc., and answer to customer queries related to that specific domain. Coming to the marketing, AI can help in personalized marketing campaigns, which are again based on customer segment. So talking about one of the examples, so we created different customer segments where customers share same attributes within the segment, right? So once we have created these segments, we would map them to relevant products, right? So which segment would more likely to have what kind of product, right, based on their attributes. AI can also help in cross-sell opportunities, cross-sell or upsell opportunities based on customer behavior, right, using customers' previous purchase or transaction. So, for example, in a bookstore, if a customer has purchased, let's say, a Harry Potter book, right, and then AI may predict the next series of book in terms of, let's say, Lord of the Rings, based on the genre, which is fantasy, right? So these are some use cases. Obviously, this is one of the easier examples, but yeah, it can also predict the complex relationship. Then AI can generate dynamic email content based on customer preference, right? Once we identify next best product for a customer, the next step to send an email, right? So the same thing can be generated. The customized content can be written based on that particular product and then sent to the customers. Right? Then coming to the sales, AI can help in identifying potential customers for lead generation. Using AI models, we can predict which customer is more likely to respond to a pitch, right? So, so in the past, we had run a gamification challenge while resolving customer queries. A customer agent used to pitch a voucher, right? Something like, if you buy X dollar purchases, you'll get a voucher of Y dollars, right? So we used AI model to predict which or who are the customers who are more likely to respond to that challenge, right? So these are some of the use cases that I had worked on previously. AI-based tools can help in forecasting sales trends for better strategies, sales strategies, definitely. Then again, coming to the automation, right? So AI can automate repetitive tasks such as document processing, data entry, and so on. It can also help in routing customer inquiries to the best support agent, right? Hence resolving customers' queries in a faster way. So if you can map customer queries to relevant agent, in the sense that the most relevant to answer those kind of queries, then you will resolve the customer queries sooner than later, right? So that is one of the use cases. Then AI can automate tasks such as scheduling meeting, follow-up emails, and appointment, similar to in other areas also we have seen. Moving from CRM to supply chain. So AI in supply chain market is expected to reach about USD 10 billion by 2025. That is coming from markets and markets. Now let's look into some of the specific use cases in supply chain. We'll start with inventory. So building demand forecast to reduce overstocking or understocking, right? So one of the use cases I had worked previously for an e-commerce company. So it was on the demand forecast of products. So in e-commerce website, right, be it Amazon or Walmart, you would have seen products coming onto these websites, right? So our task was to forecast the demand of such products before they were launched, right? So if you see, I mean, it's a complex problem, right? You have different factors that impacts the demand of a product, right? It can be price, seasonality, brands, color, categories, right? And then historical performance also, right? So, I mean, definitely these are the challenges, right? And AI can help us in building a model or a tool which uses all these parameters, inputs, or attributes, right, to forecast the demand of any product more accurately. Yeah. AI-based forecasting for lead times to optimize order placement, right? Once you have generated the demand forecast for a product, right, the next thing is to do forecast for the lead times. Example of, I mean, how much time does it take for the products to arrive to the warehouse, right, before you launch your product on the website, right? Or take an example of food delivery app, right? Forecast how much time does it take to prepare the food, plus how much is the delivery time, plus how much is the agent's arrival time, which would give you an estimate of the overall time, right? So these kind of forecasts are used in different areas of supply chain. Then identifying best suppliers for using AI, adjusting pricing strategies based on demand fluctuation. I mean, understanding and predicting accurate demand will lead to better competitive pricing, right? I mean, if you see, price and demand are related to each other, right? We have price demand elasticity. Then moving to quality and risk. Real-time inspection of products, components, equipment for any defects, right? So, I mean, AI-based sensors can predict using images if a particular components or equipment, let's say machine, or if it's having any defects, right? AI can also predict when an equipment or machinery would most likely to fail based on their activity, right? So if we have, let's say, a machine is working, we have all the sensors fitting, we have the data of how it's working in the past. It can also predict how much time it would take for them to, I mean, fail, right? So those kind of predictions also can do. Monitoring of regulatory compliances, definitely, I mean, going through the documents, understanding it, right? So these are the things which AI can do easily. On the transport, similar to supply chain, earlier we have seen, I mean, optimizing delivery routes for different fleets, real-time tracking and monitoring of shipments. So these are the use cases on transportation, how AI can be used. Then, as mentioned before, automation, which can be used across domains, in automating repetitive tasks like data entry, right? Routing customer inquiries to the best agent, automate tasks such as scheduling meeting, appointment reminders, notification, emails, follow-ups, and so on. Yeah. So now we have seen use cases in different domains. I mean, I tried to pick domains which are, I mean, more present while we saw the list of participants. Obviously, we would not be able to cover all the things, but definitely, as Hema pointed out earlier, right? Please scan the app and see if you have any specific use cases. Definitely, you can connect with us for your use case. Moving to the strategies of implementing a successful AI tool, right? Before that, I just want to have a quick understanding of the AI lifecycle, right? How or what goes into the entire lifecycle, right? So if you see the screen, you have different part to it, right? We'll definitely start with the identification of a problem, right? This is the foremost important part because if you have not identified or if you are not clear on the goals, then whatever you are building will be of no use, right? So you need to understand what is the problem a business is facing, right? What is the exact use case, right? And then start building solution on top of that, right? So once you have identified your problem, then comes the design part, where you'll design the entire framework, right? I mean, starting from the data ingestion to how it will be served to the end customers, right? Or how the application will be built. So that would come under designing. What kind of machine learning tools you will use, right? What kinds of infra or tech stack are you going to use would be a part of designing. So definitely that's also one of the important parts onto it. And then once you have designed, once you know what tools, technology you would use, then comes the data part, right? Where you'll see, I mean, you'll try to get relevant data for your work, try to get into different sources, check where do you find that data from, right? And also whether those data are reliable or not. We'll see it later on also when we see into detail how or why it is important, right? Then once you have the data, now comes the development of machine learning or NLP or deep learning methodologies, right? To solve certain problems, which is related to that use case which you have identified earlier. Once you have built it, now comes the measure part, where you measure its performance before deploying it. Definitely, it's one of the important tasks, right? Once you develop it, you have measured it, and now you are all satisfied that you can deploy this AI model onto the system. Then comes the deployment part, where it again depends on how the end users will use this data, right? Or use this application or use the outcome. The deployment process will be based on that. And then once everything is deployed, it's running in production, you have to monitor it closely, right? So monitor is an ongoing task, where you need to see if there are some issues, say there are some drifts. When I say drifts, it is something like data drift, where a data is old or stale. You need to refresh your model, you need to refresh your AI tool, right? Or retrain or rebuild your AI tool. So all these things would come under monitor. And this is how AI lifecycle will look like, right? We'll go into details when we talk about the implementation part. I mean, what are the strategies for implementing a successful AI tool? So coming to that, the first is definitely, as I mentioned earlier, identifying the business areas, right? So conduct a thorough assessment of your organization needs and challenges. Identify areas where AI can provide the most valuable things, right? Whether it can be in automating a process, improving customer experience, right? Or making any predictions accurately. So these are, I mean, where use cases. For example, let's say you have defined a business area of sales, right? So sales is my business area where I want to implement AI. Now, once you have defined that, what comes next is defining your goals clearly and defining your KPI. So, for example, in case of sales, what do you want to do? I mean, what are the goals? So, let's say goals would be increasing sales, right? Increasing sales could be based on couple of things, right? You increase your customer base, or you increase your purchase frequency, right? Purchase frequency is same customers buying more, right? So, so you have to define your goal on where you want to have focus. For example, let's pick increasing the purchase frequency, right? So purchase frequency, now you have to define the KPI, right? So you have defined the goal. Now KPI is how much you want to increase it for, right? So purchase frequency from 1.1 to let's say 1.4, or let's say if you want to reduce your customer attrition, right? Or then your KPI would be the attrition matrix, right? Which would tell, let's say you want to improve your KPI by 20%, right? That means you will reduce the attrition by 20%, right? So for this, you have to begin defining those specific measurable and achievable goals, right? These objectives should be aligning with your business strategies as discussed earlier, right? And then definitely the KPIs which we mentioned attached to those goals. After that comes the data availability. As I touched base earlier also on this, this is one of the important parts to it. Make sure you have reliable data sources, right, and enough data quality to build AI models around it. Sorry for that. Where was I? Yeah. Just a minute. Yeah. Sorry for that. Yeah. So I was talking about the data availability and quality. So I'll take one example which happened to our team when I was working with the e-com company, right, on the data quality part. So we were trying to build a model, right, and we figured out one source which was important to us, right. So that was for getting merchants reviews. So you have come across TripAdvisor, right, or even Facebook or Google reviews for different merchants or shops, right? So we were using similar to those kind of ratings, right, from a particular data source. And once we build the model, logically, if you see, I mean, this data would be important for your AI tool because it directly, I mean, comes from, I mean, it directly tells you the different ratings, right, for the merchant. But somehow it was not coming to be that much important when we analyzed our model, right? So then we realized that the data was stale, right? I mean, the data was not updated regularly and it was not reliable to use. So these are the some instances where you need to be, I mean, focus that you need to be focused on, right? You should not have any data quality issues, right? Before building your AI tool, just make sure that you go through your data, understand, analyze whether they are reliable and whether you can use it, right? Then comes the yeah, and definitely you invest on the data governance, I mean data management practices as well. Once you have the infra, you need to maintain it also, right? So you need to spend time and resources there as well. Then with data comes the data privacy and security, right? So you need to implement a robust data privacy measures to adhere all regulations and compliances like GDPR, right? So you need to have data, I mean, in any organization, if they have customer related data, we need to make sure that we are capturing, I mean, what we call at not C1 or C2 level data, right, which are kind of very personal to customer, let's say their email IDs or even their phone numbers, addresses, and so on, right? So we need to capture things which are not that specific and more of generic kind of things, right? So we have to always take care of that. Then implement robust cybersecurity measures to protect the AI systems, right? I mean, you can have firewalls, gateways, and so on. Then once we are done with data privacy and security, comes the choice of right AI tools, right? Earlier also I mentioned, I mean, AI is vast, right? You have different tools, technologies, you have open source, proprietary ones, right? So it's important to choose the ones which are best suited for your needs, right? So what you need to consider here is definitely your budget, right? How scalable you want to use, right? Ease of integration with your existing systems, right? Skill level of your team, right? Or if you are targeting any specific use cases, for example, if your use cases is mostly related to textual data, then definitely tools which are related to NLP, right? You would use those rather than any other tool, right? So these are the things which you need to evaluate, right? I mean, depending on what's your goal, what's your budget, and so on, right? So these are the factors that would help you in getting a right tool. Next is once you have chosen the tool, then comes the team, right? As I mentioned before, I mean, AI is vast. You have different level of expertise, right? I mean, I talked about data engineers, data scientists, machine learning engineers, software engineers to develop those applications, right? So you have to consider all those things when you're building a team, right? And definitely this is not an easy task for anybody who is doing it from scratch. Then, I mean, in those cases, people use third-party vendors or experts like CodeKit, right? Where, I mean, they can offload all these AI-related work to them and they can build the AI system on behalf of your business, right? So depending on your use case, you can either build a team on your own, or you can hire a third party. Definitely, if you want to evaluate the third party, right, based on their track record and so on. So building a team is important strategy or factor for successful implementation of AI. Then comes the budget allocation, budget and resource allocation, right? You need to allocate sufficient budget and resource for AI implementation, right? So depending on your use case and how much budget you have, right? Recognize that AI projects may require both initial and ongoing investments, right? So that's the important thing, because AI projects, depending on the use case and complexity, right? It can, I mean, it can go from 3 months to a year also, right? So you have to be well prepared, well knowledgeable to understand how much time would it take, and definitely ready with all your resources, budget allocation and everything. Now, once you have defined your goals, you know your data is there, right? You have built a team, right? Then comes how to start the implementation, right? So one of the things is, don't try to implement anything big on the first instance, at the first instance. As I said earlier also, I mean, depending on your complexity, it can go from 3 months to a year also, right? So always start from small, right? I mean, do some pilot projects to test the waters and learn from your mistakes. Once you have enough confidence and success, then gradually you can scale up your AI, I mean, tools to other domains, other businesses, or upscale it, right? So these are the things which you need to focus on. Then once you have built your AI tool, right, comes the monitor and iterative approach, which we have touched base earlier also. So once your AI models are deployed, it's important to monitor the performance and iterate as needed, right? So be flexible to adapt and pivot based on feedback and changing business needs, right? So you have to be flexible enough in case if there is a change in business or if there is a change in data, the tool, I mean, you should not start from scratch. You should have a flexibility that you would impact it minimally in certain scenarios, right? And definitely, I mean, things on data part, right? As I mentioned earlier, the data drifts, right? Where the data has gone stale or the policy has changed and so on. You need to be careful on how you, I mean, when you monitor it, right? If you see any deterioration in the model or AI, then take your steps, analyze, and see what best you can do. Yeah, so AI is complex, right? And most people definitely don't understand it. So there is always, I mean, a fear, right? So fear also in terms of, I mean, job loss and all those things, right? So you need to communicate all these expectation to all the stakeholders, right? Which are going to be impacted by the AI implementation, right? And then comes the ethical part, right? As I mentioned earlier also, you need not, I mean, you should not have any biases, right? Make sure that before implementing any AI tool, right, consider the impact that it would have on people or society, right? So as I took an example of the gender bias, right? How, because AI tools are built on historical data, right? So you need to be very careful on how the outcomes are generated, right? And take the corrective measures. So this was all about the strategies of successful implementation. I'll again take a 30-second break. Please scan through the QR code. And if you have any specific queries, if you want to have any specific consultation, we have 30-minute slot open for you. Please use it. Thank you. I'll just take a 30-second. Yeah, I'll give it to Hema.
Yeah, thank you so much. We are seeing some questions coming up, and some are being answered on the chat itself. But if you have more detailed deep dive sessions you're looking for, then please scan the QR code and we can get on a detailed call with you. There are 2 questions which I have posted. I'll leave it to someone to answer maybe later on. And anything with respect to AI application development, there is one question which is coming to us for data migration. So there are a lot of tools available, plus we have also worked on data migration. So there are ways we can implement that. Even on the cloud side, there are platforms which are providing similar facilities. So I've put down the question for us to answer later on once the session is over. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Shama. Going ahead, yeah. So we talked about different use cases, right? We talked about best practices earlier, how to implement, or what are the strategies of successfully implementing any AI system tool, right? Now we'll look into some specific use case studies, which are from different domains. I mean, typically here I have put 3 main domains. I mean, for banking, healthcare, and agri-based, right? We'll look at the videos one by one and see how they have implemented AI for their business problems.
Bank of America, the second largest bank in the US, is embracing artificial intelligence, AI, to enhance customer experiences and optimize operational efficiency. In an interview with Fox Business Network's Mornings with Maria, Bank of America CEO
Hello.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so we can't hear you, and then kindly optimize your video before playing.
Sorry, can you come again?
Would you like to run the video? So would you like to run the video? I think the links are shared.
Yes, let me play the video.
Okay, thank you.
Bank of America, the second largest bank in the US, is embracing artificial intelligence, AI, to enhance customer experiences and optimize operational efficiency. In an interview with Fox Business Network's Mornings with Maria, Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan discussed the implementation of AI, particularly through the virtual financial assistant named ACCRA. Launched in June 2018, ACCRA has amassed over 10 million hours of customer interactions, functioning as a predictive language model that responds to queries based on the bank's data and information. Moynihan highlighted ACCRA's versatility, accommodating both voice and text inputs. He emphasized that while ACCRA is a sophisticated system, it operates within a controlled framework. The technology has notably curtailed expenses and customer service wait times by addressing inquiries that previously required phone calls or branch visits. With 18 to 20 million users finding value in ACCRA's capabilities, the potential for AI to revolutionize customer interactions is substantial. Despite its early-stage development, ACCRA reflects promising potential that is continually refined and expanded. Moynihan acknowledged that AI's evolution hinges on ensuring decisions are made effectively and transparently. By using AI to handle routine tasks involving account information and standardized inquiries, Bank of America has effectively streamlined operations and reduced costs. Over the past 15 years, the integration of AI and technology has facilitated the bank's growth and acquisitions without significantly increasing its workforce. Moynihan emphasized the bank's ability to leverage technology to optimize processes, including the remarkable shift from traditional check transactions to digital solutions like Zelle. He anticipates that the adoption of AI and technology will continue to reshape customer interactions and transaction methods, ultimately furthering Bank of America's commitment to innovation and efficiency in the financial services sector.
Yeah, thanks, Isaac. Let's so let's take another example, right? So we have different videos, but let's not go through everything because of the time constraints. So Isaac, can you play the one which was on slide 35?
At Capital One, we developed an internal machine learning platform that can detect anomalies in credit card transaction data and works to create automatic defenses, helping protect customers from credit card fraud or mistaking declines. That's technology at Capital One. At Capital One, we developed an internal machine learning platform that can detect anomalies in credit card transaction data and works to create automatic defenses, helping protect customers from credit card fraud or mistaking declines. That's technology at Capital One.
Yeah, so hello. Thanks, Isaac. Just let me, I will not see the videos. I'll just talk about those use cases and then we'll move forward. Okay. Just let me share my screen again. Just give me a moment. Okay. This one which we saw earlier talked about Erica, virtual assistant, right, which helps customers answering different questions related to finance, right? So it's kind of a chatbot or virtual assistant. Then we saw there are a couple of use cases from Capital One, right? Based, so one was on the fraud detection using AI, right? The other one is also on anti-money laundering. Then I was talking about the specific use case in healthcare industry where doctors from NYU, Langone Health, they developed a tool called Deep Glioma, right? So this tool was able to detect a cancerous tissue, right? And then it took I think very short term time. Had it been done outside, I mean by any other machine, which was not based on AI, it would have taken, I think, 3 weeks. So this was I mean, one of the best use cases I have seen in healthcare. Sorry. Yeah. This one is the patient monitoring system, right? So where there is a camera sensor which is there at the patient's room, right? It kind of scans through the patient activities, right? What patient is doing, how patient is feeling, right? Based on their attributes, right? Facial recognition and all those things, they try to predict whether customer is having any difficulties, right? So those kind of things, where you don't need to have a nurse 24/7 sitting in front of the patient, right? So these are some of the other use cases. Then from the agriculture side, so there was one use case where IBM had created a tool called AgroPad, which checks the checks the health of soil, the nutrient contents, right? Their percentage and all, checks the moisture in the soil, right? Which can be, used. You can use it, or a farmer can use it on their own, right? So it's kind of a strip where you need to put some soil sample, and then there is an app. You need to put that strip on that app, and then it would tell all the details about the soil, how much percentage of what nutrients is present in the soil, what is the water content in the soil, and so on. And there's a final one from Israel, where they have built the drones. So these drones would capture images of the farm, all the plants, even the fruits, crops, and so on. It helps in detecting, using those images what drones have captured. AI can identify whether the fruits have already ripened, or are there any diseases. Looking at the texture of or color of fruits or leaves, they would detect all these things. So these are some of the use cases, some of the case studies from different domains, right? Where AI is currently getting used. Moving to the next slide, we have. Yeah. So now we have talked about use cases of AI. We have seen the case studies. We have seen what it takes to build a successful or implement a successful AI tool, right? Challenges with the AI tool. We have seen use cases in different domains. Now we talk about the emerging trend in AI, right? And definitely this is one of the hot topics around this time, right? Which is focused on Gen AI, which is generative AI, right? You would have heard about chatbot, right? DALL-E or Stable Fusion, right? So these are tools which generates context, right? Contents. It could be text, it could be image, it could be video, and so on. So let's see these tools, right? So some of the stats around Gen AI, I'll just read it. So ChatGPT, the popular chatbot from OpenAI, is estimated to have reached 100 million monthly active users in the month of January, just 2 months after the launch, making it the fastest growing consumer application in the history. So you can see how much traction it had caused, right? Then from Goldman Sachs, generative AI could raise global GDP by 7%. Wow. And then from Forbes Advisor, almost all, around 97% of business owners surveyed believed that ChatGPT will help their business, right? So now, I mean, in the next few slides, we'll also see, I mean, what are the different use cases around GenAI where you can use generative AIs for your businesses, right? But before that, let's talk about what is generative AI, right? I mean, what it does and so on. So just one slide on that, we'll quickly go through it. So in terms of definition, a range of systems with primary objective of creating or generating content, right? Such as text, you have seen ChatGPT or Google Bard, right? So these are some tools, GenAI tools, which used to generate text. Then images like DALL-E or Stable Diffusion, and audio, we have Resemble.ai and Valley. So generative AI, I mean, in simple terms, is nothing but generating content, right? And content can be text, audio, image, etc. Just giving you an example, I mean, how fascinating or awesome you can say GenAI is. So it's just a prompt which I have given to Google Bard, explain AI in a poetic way, not more than 5 lines. So it can articulate, it can understand what a person is talking about, right? And try to come up with or generate content based on that input, okay? So you can see it's in a poetic way, how or what AI is, right? Similar to that, on the image side, so this is captured from Stable Diffusion, right? So create an image of Mickey Mouse in Paris, right? So, sorry, it was not Paris, it was Egypt. I wrongly typed that. And then create an image of Mowgli in a city, right? So you can see how well it has generated that content which the user has prompted, right? And if you remember, I talked about new revenue opportunities, right? So here you can see how GenAI can be used to build new applications, right? I mean, increasing your revenue in multifolds, right? I mean, it can be on cost efficiency or even generating new businesses. Now we have talked about GenAIs, then what are LLMs, right? So you heard about ChatGPT and Bard, right? So these are nothing but large language models. So it is a specific type of AI systems or specific GenAI, right? Which is focused on textual data or language, right? It can, and it comes with different use cases. It can generate text, translate language, summarize your text, answer your queries, right? I mean, answer your queries. It has been trained on ample data, right? Massive text data. I mean, text data which is available, right, in the form of books, articles, web pages, entire, I mean, internet archives, right? So you can imagine, I mean, how it can answer or generate content based on your prompts or your queries, right? Then talking about generative AI use cases, right? Starting with text, definitely text generation, right? So you can write an essay about AI or draft a lease agreement for rental house, give ideas for science project for 5th grader. So these are examples of the content generation, right? I mean, there are many, right? Then in generation also, I mean, paraphrasing or rewriting. So GenAI can rewrite text while maintaining the original meaning, which is beneficial, right, for content generation. So for example, I mean, you want to give a document and ask ChatGPT to rewrite it, right? So it can do that. Then comes to summarization. It can summarize lengthy documents, research papers, or news articles, making information more accessible for the users, right? So I mean, in our use cases, right? So we use GenAI to extract named entity recognition, right? So extract entities out of text, right? So for example, if you want to extract, given, let's say, a web page, right? You want to extract the price of the product, right? Or the title of the product, or the topic, or even the customer, the merchant address, right? Location, all these things, you can do that. Conversational, simpler terms. I mean, you can build chatbots around that. Train your chatbot based on the existing data, which is already there, or your own data, the customized data. You can feed in your FAQs, documents, so on, right? And it can train itself on the new data and answer your queries related to that document. Then the inference is more of the predictive way, right? I mean, if you want to classify a document, right? If you want to classify a document, let's say there are product transcripts, right? Different products and different description. You want to classify all these different descriptions of product into specific product categories, right? That can be achieved. Then sentiment analysis, right? So lot of reviews comes in for B2C customers, right? B2C businesses, understanding those reviews, right? Analyzing or predicting sentiments, whether it's positive, negatives, or mid ones, right? So you can do that using Gen AIs. Then the translation, as I mentioned earlier, also you can translate any text into any given language text, right? Let's say English into French, or Spanish into English, and so on. Extraction. So we can extract exactly what we need from the data, right? So let's say if we are talking about search engine optimization, right, where it works on special tags. So in CODK, we have built a system which can extract relevant topics or relevant key phrases from a given text, right? This can help you in better search engine optimization. So those kind of things these kind of things can be powered by Gen AI, right? Moving to image, we have generation. Again, I mean, you can write a prompt and generate image. We have seen in the previous slides, where you can talk about create an image of Mowgli in a city or anything, right? So it can generate image accordingly to your prompt. Then image captioning of that image. I mean, it can predict, right? Making visual content more accessible to the users, or aiding visually impaired individuals, so on. Then the image detection, right? So you have seen, I mean, given an image, identify which animal it is, right? So those kind of use cases, whether it's a cat, dog, and so on, or any image, if you want to identify a person also, right, in the image, it can use Gen AI to do that. And then in the healthcare case studies, we have seen about the medical image analysis, right, where it kind of detected any anomalies based on the images or the tissue samples, right? So these kind of things can be done easily. Classification, again, image, it pertains to image recognition, can classify objects, scenes within the image, enabling applications like facial recognition or e-commerce or content moderation, something like those. Then the denoising, so it can remove noise from a noisy image. Let's say you have a blurred image, you want to clean it, right? Or restore your old photos, which can be done easily using Gen AI. Moving to audio video, again, generation, I mean, similar to image and text generation. You can generate voice, you can generate videos, audios, same, right? I mean, then you can do cloning of voice, right? I mean, you can replicate voices, allowing for customized voice assistants to personalize audio content narration, right? Something like those. You can do a real-time translation based on audio or video, what person is saying, right? Based on that, you can have captions which can translate what the person is saying. in the video. Then the detection. Detection is more into, identifying who the speaker is in the video, right? Or who the speaker is in the audio, right? So identifying the speaker, then what kind of action they are doing, right? Within the video. You can have surveillance camera monitoring system that we have seen we saw in healthcare, right? Where you can have a patient monitoring system, right? Speech recognition, similar to video, speaker recognition, right? Then comes the inference part, where it's more of classification of videos and audios onto different genres.
Looking to increase brand.
Sorry?
Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Then again, detection of different sentiments while in the video. If somebody is talking, you can detect using their facial recognition, right? Using their hand movements, right? What is the emotion of that or sentiments from that person, right? Then on the noise reduction, again, similar to image, right? You can do noise cancellation on the audio part, even on the video. Content moderation, right? It can identify and filter any inappropriate content, right? In ensuring that it is whatever audio or video is safer for all the audience, and it's adhering to any community guidelines. Summarization, again, GenAI can analyze video, audio contents and generate concise summaries if you want to understand, right? So given 1 hour or let's say 2 hour video, if you don't want to go through the entire video or audio, you can summarize it, right? Based on what they are saying. GenAI can do that easily. So these are some of the use cases of generic AI, right? Generative AI, sorry. Chat GPT in terms of text, image and video, what it can do. There are many more, definitely one. You can go through the internet, you have more and more use cases coming up where you can use generative AI for your work. Definitely, it also has its shortcomings, right? It's not perfect, right? Still there, there could be some generation could be incorrect, right? What we call as hallucination, right? Where these models, AI model, may hallucinate over the time period and give you incorrect answers, right? So those things are still there, but definitely it's much more advanced. The tech side is very much advanced, like Chat GPT or Llama, right? So it can do a lot of things. A lot of use cases can be done. So these are some of the use cases of generative AI. With this, that's the end of the webinar. We have almost we covered everything which we intended to do, right? Now we'll go to the question answers. Next, we'll open up for question answers.
There are 3-4 questions if you want to answer them.
Yeah, so there are some pre-submitted question answers. I'll take a few of those. Okay, so there was one. How safe is my company data when I feed it to AI? How can different AI tool use the data we feed it to create algorithms and build data that could be misused or wrongly used to manipulate markets or even population at a larger scope? So, if you are specifically talking about Chat GPT, where you want to feed in some data, see, there are two aspects of it. One is any AI tool that you have built, right? And tools which you are using, right? So tools like Chat GPT, which are open to all, right? I mean, anyone can use it, right? It can be free, or you can, pay also to use it. Although Chat GPT, confirms that they don't misuse the data as such, right? But again, even I'm not sure whether they do it. If you are concerned about the data, your data, something like your financial data or data which are legal in nature, right? Definitely, I would suggest not to put into Chat GPT. In case if you are doing, or if you are using some tools like these, definitely go through their terms and condition, right? If you if you are more worried about that, then you can have an agreement to them. You can have a paid use case, right? Paid agreement to use that. If you are concerned about data and you don't want to pay more, right? Then you can build on your own, right? Something which can be done using open source. So with Chat GPT is based on GPT 3.5 and GPT 4, right? Which comes from OpenAI. So these are the tools which are proprietary in nature, right? But there are free to LLMs also, which are large language models, something like Llama 2, right? Where you can use Llama 2 for your own consumption. It is free. Once it comes to your system, once you download it, right? It's your system, right? It does not interfere with any outside world. The only thing is, because again, these are large language models, it's trained on huge data, right? And running that LLM onto your machines is also time consuming, right? And definitely you need better machines to run those. And again, you talk about better machines, definitely that would be that would incur some cost. So we have to kind of evaluate your choices on that. Yeah, sorry, Adam.
So I wanted to ask a question. Are there any models around the world where companies are developing artificial intelligence systems as a service, so that companies, clients can use just what they need rather than seek to develop their own proprietary technologies?
So whatever, I would like to put it like this. So whatever is already built, similar to chatbot and all, right? So ChatGPT and all. So they have generic functionality, right? If you want something specific to your use cases, you can still use the existing ones, right? Or build on your own. There could be existing, there could be specific use cases which is used by your organization, may be available. You may need to search about it, but most of these are generic in nature. So as I said, right, ChatGPT is kind of a generative tool, right? It can be used in different use cases, and people use it for their own use cases. Some people would use it for generation, some people would use it for extraction, some people would use it for translation, right? But if you want specific use cases, you need to search. If it is available, you can definitely use it. It can be proprietary. You can have a contract, or you can touch base with the company which is providing that tool, right? Else, if you don't find it, or if you are not convinced, you can build on your own.
Okay. Are there any more questions? We've done an hour and a half of knowledge sharing. So maybe I'll see if there are more questions. And
So sorry, Adam. I just got one question from Ishika. Can AI for agriculture accurately identify specific plants from just a picture of their leaves or flowers? Yes, it can do. If you have, I'm not sure how the ones which are already available, right? Del-E or Stable Diffusion, how they can do it. You can test it if you want, but if you want to build something, you can do that. The only thing is you need to provide your data. So in this case, if you have data where you have image of plants, right? Image of leaves with their mapped plant name, right? You can feed in this data, and AI can classify for any futuristic leaves that you would provide, which it would be able to identify which plant the leaf is coming from or flower coming from. So it depends on whether the existing AI tools have enough data to do that. If not, then you can train those tools onto your custom data and build this AI tool. I think there was one more on the chat.
Yeah, is there any tool to identify the work made by generative AI?
Is there any tool to identify the work? So is there any tools to identify the work made by generative AI?
Text.
Maybe it will be, I'm not sure. So let me try to clarify this question. So you want to ask, what are the different use cases of generative AI, and is there any tool which provide this information? Is it?
Is there a tool which can detect this text is generated from generative?
Okay, got it. Yeah, I think there are some tools, although I have not used those tools, but I have heard that there are tools which can predict whether something is generated by a ChatGPT or any generative AI tools. See, now it's an open ground, right? So you have tools, which generate things, right, based on some algorithms. Then definitely there would be people would make tools which can detect whether these are generated from certain tools, right? So I have heard about it. There are tools which can identify, I think, the essays or generated text. I'm not sure about the images, but definitely text. You need to search on the internet. I don't have right now the names for those.
I think ChatGPT 3 detector is.
Okay. So there was one more question, I think. So there was one question, I'll just read it loud. We are working on building AI model to automate data mapping from one format to another, but unable to find any existing model which we can leverage for this purpose. Any guidance or suggestion, like any cloud service or existing model which we can use? Yes, if you are not able to find anything, that means you have a specific ask where you have data in one format and you want to replicate the same in another format, right? So if you don't have any data, tools available to do that, then you have to build on your own, or get in touch with us, right, Kotke. So definitely we can help you. The only thing is we want to understand what is the input format and what is the output format. Once you understand, then we'll be able to help you. So it's more of understanding the content in your format, right? What content is present where in the format, kind of a template, right? If you can create a template around your format, understand what specific positions, what content is lying, then similar. If we are able to identify that, then the next step to extract that content from that particular position and put it in the format that you want. Again, the format positioning as well as where this content should be pasted. So it can be done depending on what is the format, input format versus what is the output format. Yeah. So I think that's all. I'll hand it over to.
Yes.
Adam.
That was very engaging. Let me turn on the video, my video. What is this? Okay. So we've come to the end of this webinar, which has been very insightful on how we can leverage artificial intelligence to increase productivity. And I am immensely grateful and inspired at the same time that we embarked on this journey and reached this level of success, where we've interrogated some of the boundless possibilities that artificial intelligence offers to businesses around the world. Our discussions have been rich. Valuable insights have been shared. We have learned how AI is not merely a technology, but a force that can redefine our businesses, our economies, and our lives. The experiences that were shared by our team of facilitators have provided us with some real-world examples of how AI is being harnessed to drive efficiency, enhance consumer experience, and to stimulate innovation. You know, in Africa, we in the past have demonstrated an ability to leapfrog technologies. When the rest of the world had land phones and Africa didn't have a lot of land phones, and then the world was moving to mobile phones, the prediction was that Africa was now going to go to land phones and then eventually go to mobile phones. But we leapfrogged land phones and went straight to mobile phones. And already I see that artificial intelligence is taking a stronghold on various aspects of our economy. I think that the iron is hot. This is the time to dive in deep. One of the key takeaways from our discussions today, for me, is the importance of collaboration. First of all, we made this webinar happen by collaborating with World Trade Center Pune. We are part of a global network of about 330 World Trade Centers around the world. And so we are able to leverage our global connection to draw experts and skilled professionals from around the world to facilitate our events. So we collaborated. Interestingly, the webinar itself is about collaboration. It's about the collaboration between humans and machines. And we have the capacity to facilitate even more collaboration between the team in Pune and all the companies here in Africa that will be interested to leverage artificial intelligence. You see that our facilitators are deeply knowledgeable and have expertise in this area. And we will be looking forward to facilitate more collaborations. By fostering these partnerships and encouraging innovation and nurturing talents of the workforce here in Africa, we're sure that we can navigate the complexities of AI adoption and ensure its efficient use. I have made a lot of notes. I'm feeling very entrepreneurial at the moment. I've made a lot of notes, which I think will feed into some of our future plans. And I myself will be looking to engage further with the team in Pune and with CodeQuay about how we can take this to the next steps. I want to express my appreciation to the team at CodeQuay and World Trade Center Pune. Our distinguished speakers have been excellent, and they have generously shared knowledge that would have costed tens of thousands of dollars just to acquire. They've shared freely. So I'm grateful for this opportunity. I want to appreciate them. Your insights have been very important, useful for most of us, and broadened our understanding of the transformative power of artificial intelligence. I also want to extend my gratitude to all the people that worked behind the scenes to put this together. Dennis, Isaac from our team here, Hema and the team from World Trade Center Pune, Niraj, excellent partnership with you. We're building this up nicely, and I'm looking forward to more of such. So let's keep working together. Our team will be in touch with most of you to carry on the discussion and to make sure we optimize the benefits from this webinar. And together, I'm sure we can shape a future where artificial intelligence will not only increase productivity, but also foster inclusivity, sustainability, and prosperity for all. Thank you very much. On the 1st of November, we're going at it again. We have another webinar coming up. This one is focused on how to thrive in Africa. And we'll be hoping to share valuable insights to companies from around the world that would like to be fluent in Africa. I say that because Africa is growing in importance on the global economic landscape. We now have the single largest custom-free trading area, which has been brought to us by virtue of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. We're talking about an entire continent of 55 countries with 1.3 billion people that has decided now to become one market. Businesses around the world would need to be fluent in Africa. Or if you're just advising businesses around the world on how to work in Africa, you need to be fluent in the language that is Africa. And at this webinar, we'll be discussing the African consumer, African sectors, the legal and regulatory environment, etc. I hope to see all of you again on the 1st of November when we embark on this journey. Thank you very much. And this brings our program today to an end. For those of you that have booked private sessions with the facilitators, I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adin. Have a good day.